Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I want to tell you the 5 biggest mistakes that we made on Amazon or selling on Amazon. So before we get started, please consider clicking that subscribe button down below and hitting the bell notification button. I will greatly appreciate it, and it means you get to watch more of my videos. So it's a win-win. So let's get right into it. The 5 mistakes. Now I have written down these mistakes because we've made quite a few mistakes, and these were the 5 biggest ones, and I just don't remember them all off by heart, so I've got a list. So mistake number 1 was, this was actually quite a big one. Our mistake number 1 was we used a trader instead of a supplier. So we thought we were using a supplier, but we were using a trader. And the difference is the supplier is the person, it's like the manufacturer, the people who actually make the product. And then literally they have the factory. Whereas a trader is someone who finds a supplier, they find the supplier, and they're like the middlemen. So you make an order through them, they make an order through the supplier, that goes to them, and it goes back to you. So the downside is it costs more. Not only does it cost more to buy the product because it's now another level, whenever you ask the trader a question, they're going to have to then go and ask the supplier. So the communication was just so lagging. Like we would ask them a question and like 3 days later they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, we have that answer for you now. For some reason, I don't know why we didn't catch on that it was a trader. They told us they were a supplier, so they were lying, pretty much. So that was a huge mistake for us, and it was annoying because we had a very crappy product because we couldn't afford a good product because the crappy product cost us like our budget because it was being used to a trader. Now we use a supplier and we have 100 times better product. We personally think one of the best ones on Amazon, and we're getting it cheaper because we're going straight to the supplier, the manufacturer, like we're doing it straight from the factory. So that was our biggest mistake, is using a trader, but it was a mistake that we learned from, and now within our 15 questions, we don't just ask them bluntly, are you a trader or a supplier, because we can't always trust them. We lead up with follow-up questions where we know if they're lying or they're not lying. Pretty cool, we get into their head. So our second mistake, quite a big mistake, is we started selling in the US. So in the US of A. Now, that's not really a mistake. We learned a lot selling in the US. However, the UK is a brilliant market. It's a lot easier to compete in because it's much smaller. We live in the UK ourselves. And from day one, we made so much more money in the UK than we ever did in the US. And the reason it was a mistake starting in the US is because if we would have started in the UK, instead of being here, we would be like here. So I guess it's not really a mistake because we still earn a good amount of money in the US, but it's just a shame that we didn't start in the UK. And that's because the course that we were taught from taught us how to make money in the US, which is why we've made our course compatible for the UK or the US. So we thought that was a big deal. So our third biggest mistake was... where's the thing? Yes, so our supplier was super dodgy. This was going back to so we've had 3 suppliers, I should say. Well, we started with the trader, then we went to a supplier which was really good, but then turned out to be dodgy. And now the one we have now, we've had them for quite a while, and they're like the best. We love them very, very much. But the second one was a bit dodgy, and they sort of screwed us over. And the reason they did this was we had an order coming in of quite a few items, and we said, okay, brilliant, please use this shipping company. They quoted us on that shipping company. Everything was sorted, everything was great. They were going to use, I think, FedEx or one of the big names. Anyway, they ship out the item and they send us a tracking number, and we see that they've used this shipping company that we've never heard of before. It's the most random company. I couldn't even find, their website on Google, it looked like it was made by a 5-year-old. It was very worrying. So I messaged them and I said, what's going on here? We paid for you to use FedEx. What are you doing? So they said, well, we actually wanted to save... This is what they said to us. They were blunt with us. It was just ridiculous. They said, well, we wanted to save money, so we used this shipping company. So I said, well, I don't care if you wanted to save money. We paid for this service. You said that's how much the service was going to cost us. Why haven't you used it? And they said, oh, because we wanted to save money. Anyway, this wasn't really a mistake it wasn't really on us because we didn't have any control over it. However, we could have... I don't know. We could have maybe snuffed out this supplier a bit earlier, but it's not really a mistake. However, the fact that they used this shipping company and they were a crappy shipping company, our stuff got stuck in customs for a month, cost us $900, which we had to fight to get back from the supplier, which we eventually got back, but it took us a while. Since then, we stopped trading with them. We found a new supplier, but it was such a, I can't think of the word, but it was such a whatever to say, yeah, we've used FedEx, we're going to use FedEx, and then the next morning find out that they've used some random shipping company, which I don't even remember the name of. It was so weird. And we knew as soon as we found out they used a shipping company, our stuff was going to get stuck in customs. We were going to have so many problems with it, nothing we would have been able to do. So that was huge and real mess up on their behalf. So we stopped using them. So that's not really one of our mistakes, but I put it in there anyway because it was quite a big thing. Number 4 is this was quite a big one actually. So our original training taught us how to find a product, get that product to £10,000 or $10,000 a month, then find a new product. So we were doing that very nicely. We were following the training and doing that. And then we deviated from it. We found a supplier close to home. We ordered tons of products. We thought, this is brilliant. We've got so many products on Amazon now. This is great. We were getting lots of sales. It was a lot more work. We had to do a lot of packaging. We had to do a lot of sticking. It was a lot more work. We weren't doing the getting a product up to 10,000 and moving on to the next one anymore. We were just messing around, being stupid, thinking having lots of products is good. And that was very bad for our business because we weren't able to focus on products because we had so many just all of a sudden, and it went down and down. And it's because we deviated from our original training. So after we sort of had an epiphany and was like, what the hell, what are we doing? We changed up, we went back to original training, and we got our products back to 10,000. We got rid of a bunch of the products that were just stupid and we should never have done in the first place, and we were back on track. So now we've been back on track for quite a while, but that was a huge mistake because it was a big boulder in our Amazon journey. So instead of going like this, we sort of went like this, boop, and then back up. So it was a bit annoying, but that was one of our biggest mistakes as well. And number 5, well, let's have a look at what number 5 was. Number 5 is we didn't, okay, so this is not really a mistake, but we didn't embrace the break-even method enough. So we were very worried about just giving our product away and doing the break-even method. We wanted to make money. Now, at first we weren't so worried, but then for some reason we became more worried. I don't know why. But the break-even method is when you sell your product on Amazon for break-even, which is much cheaper than anyone else. You get tons and tons of sales. You build up the ranks really fast, and it's great. Then you put your product back up to its original price, or even more than its original price, and you're now killing out all the competition. It's amazing. We only been doing this for the last couple of months. We didn't embrace this early enough. If we would have embraced this from the beginning, we would literally be number 1 on Amazon for all our keywords, and we would be crushing it right now. So the mistake is the mistake is not that we didn't do this. The mistake is we didn't risk enough. We didn't test out doing that enough from the beginning. But I guess it's not really, look, you learn from your mistakes, which is why we do it now the whole time, and which is why we do the 0 to 10,000 method, and which is why we ask our suppliers many more questions. We're gonna go hopefully visit them. So mistakes are good because you learn from them, but the reason I'm telling you this is because hopefully you'll be able to avoid making the same mistakes, which is what my aim is for you. So those were our 5 biggest mistakes. If you have been selling on Amazon for a while or just been doing business, please leave a comment below what some of your mistakes were. I'm really interested to find them out actually, because it's cool to see what other people's mistakes were and how you've worked on them and how you've used those mistakes to actually turn it around and do even better. So it's really interesting to know. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up, and hopefully I will see you in tomorrow's video.